Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Metaphysics Hour. I'm your host, Rory Colgan. Sorry it's been so long since I have put out a video, but again, 2017 for me is a year about being silent and quiet. However, I watched a video from one of my news shows that I subscribe to on YouTube, and his channel is called Stefan Molyneux or Freedom A Radio. And on the 25th of May, 2017, he put up this video from a call-in show that he does a couple times a week called Reincarnation. And I was inspired or stimulated because at the end, he does a scorching condemnation of the caller when the caller and I share similar perspectives or beliefs. So this is in defense of reincarnation. And even if you haven't seen Stefan Molyneux's work or you haven't seen this particular podcast that he does, this should still be educational as a means to promote the idea of reincarnation. So, first thing that Stefan Molyneux brought up, and I think he brings up a valid point for a skeptic, is that reincarnation has not been scientifically proven. Okay? However, that's true. We can't necessarily state empirically that reincarnation does exist. There hasn't been a whole lot of case studies. There haven't been a lot of published papers, and they haven't been peer reviewed, etc., etc. So as far as the scientific model goes, reincarnation is not proven. However, the point that he said, which I thought was pretty inflaming, actually, was that reincarnation does not exist. So even though the jury is still out, he is coming to a definition or to a theory, even when it has yet to be decided. That's like, James Comey saying that he's not going to prosecute or not recommend prosecution, even though that's not his job. So in this case, the philosopher is not doing his job because the jury is still out empirically. And he does not demonstrate an open mind. And an open mind is necessary in all interactions. Now, you might have been taught that if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. Well, that can be true in certain instances. The point being, you have to have an open mind to hear new thoughts, new inclinations. And if you are so dogmatic that you say that is impossible, then by your very perceptions, you have that confirmation bias where you limit your perspective. And sure, reason is a function of your brain and your conscious mind. And so reason cannot explain reincarnation to you in such a way whereas you know it to be true. It can only look at the evidence. And right now, the evidence is out. So that's the first thing that he is wrong about. He is coming to a conclusion where the science has yet to be proven. So what does that demonstrate? It demonstrates arrogance. So Stefan Molyneux, you are arrogant when it comes to reincarnation, point one. And it's very clear just based on the things I've already said. Point two, he said that to this caller that I don't think reincarnation can be very useful because it seems very self-serving. And what good is anything that's self-serving? It doesn't actually make a difference. And you're living in this fantasy world of, drug references and new age hippie references. So he was essentially diminishing this concept of self-serving. Now, in metaphysics, it is known that you are a whole individual and you do all of this earth drama for your own interest. In essence, it is self-serving. But here's where reason can be applied to this very topic so as to give it credence as to opposed to pushing it out of this perspective of reality. And that is, think of any molecule that has a categorization. So let's talk about a simple microorganism, like one of the first ones noticed on planet Earth. That microorganism has a very simple philosophy or a very simple mandate, and it's written in its DNA. Its blueprint of its makeup, and that is to sustain itself and then to reproduce. Okay, so that is a fundamental fact that science has proven. So, what does that mean? That means that every organism, including human beings, have to be self serving if we take the scientific hypothesis that we evolved from these single cell bacterias. From a single cell, that single cell bacteria has enough consciousness to be what it is and to reproduce itself. Well, if you're not preserving yourself, then you don't have the chance to reproduce, and therefore you become extinct and are not part of this grand evolution to more complex forms like human beings. So, Stefan Molyneux, you're wrong on point two. Self-serving is important. And in fact, it is a scientifically proven fact that all organisms are self-serving. And if you want to just make it the most base, they serve themselves to stay alive and to reproduce, or in times of great upheaval, to simply stay alive. And they don't worry about self-production or reproduction. So those are the two main points that I wanted to bring up to rebut to Stefan Molyneux and his idea of reincarnation. The third and last point is very simple as well. And that is that for somebody that talks as a philosopher, he is not doing an effective job in this instance in being humble himself, as mentioned in point one. But point two, he then rips into this individual through ridicule, not through reason, not through evidence, but through his own bias, and he is not self-reflecting. So these three things make his reincarnation video entertaining, educational, but the conclusion he draws is false. I would love to debate you, Stefan Molyneux, on this topic if you are so inclined. Be blessed, everyone else, and to you, Stefan. Thank you all for tuning in, and maybe there will be more to this story, or maybe I won't post anything else for the rest of the year. In any case, that's what I have to say. This is Rory Colgan saying, see you soon.